Hey book lovers, my name is Em and I want to talk about books and cats. Hey book lovers, welcome back. Sorry for the huge break in posting, but things have been pretty crazy over here in Books and Cats land. You know, the usual. And of course, I thought the holidays were the best time to jump back in. Currently, I am deeply in the editing process. I am working on 2 separate books right now. I have a collection of short stories that hopefully will be out at the end of February, and I'm also working on another full-length novel. It has taken me a while to get into the groove of editing again, but I think I have finally found my flow again, which is really nice. But it has been taking a lot of my focus and a lot of my time, and combined with doing more hours at my real job, something had to slip eventually. But now I'm back, and I will do my best to keep up with posting. It is the holidays, like I said, and I am easily distracted or overwhelmed, but I'll do my best. One of my goals for 2025 is to be back on track with all of my personal goals, especially with the podcast and my own writing. This has been a bit of a chaotic year. Lots of big changes. I would say mostly for the better. It's been a good year overall, but it's been kind of a chaotic one. And I'm hoping next year to have a little more consistency and maybe a little routine. That would be nice. Mostly, though, I just want to find some balance and some peace at the end of this year and start off next year positively. Life can get incredibly challenging, and my goal is just to keep my own existence as peaceful and joyous as possible, and maybe spread it around if I can. This is kind of tangentially related, and I'm sure most of you have seen this by now. It's old news. But Stephen King got kicked off X for calling Elon Musk the first lady, and that just makes me giggle. Stephen King is like just going hard, and I love it when he really gets going on social media. And there's just something so much more badass about being kicked off of X. I do appreciate all the companies and people that are finally boycotting it, but just go off, Stephen King. He is always going to be one of my favorite writers, not necessarily just for his work. I have to admit the last couple of his books have been a little too repetitive, but the man has been trying to maintain fresh material for decades. As much as I love and appreciate his writing, I appreciate his outspokenness too. But anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about a book, and today I want to talk about Long Bright River by Liz Moore. So after The God of the Woods, I was very interested in reading more of Liz Moore's writing, and since I messed up her name in previous episodes, I figured why not cover another one of Liz Moore's books. Long Bright River is an emotional story about family, miscommunication, loyalty, and also the horrors of addiction. This story features 2 sisters. One of them, Mickey, is a cop, and the other, Casey, works the streets, and she is caught up in the iron grip of addiction. Their stories, both past and present, are woven together, and all the while there is also a search for a serial killer going on. Someone is targeting the girls who work a certain part of Philadelphia called Kensington, which is the same place where both of the sisters work their respective jobs. And then Casey disappears, and Mickey throws herself into the pursuit of this killer, potentially to her own detriment. I really loved the contrast of themes in this book. It's a suspenseful cop story with action and drug dealers and danger, but there's also discussion of family and loyalty versus duty, the choices we have to make, communication, cross signals. And I honestly found the relationship between the sisters to be far more interesting than the serial killer stuff. And I'm a huge fan of thrillers, true crime, all that dark stuff. But this was just a beautiful combination of dark and light, kind of the yin and yang of life. And the section of the book that refers to the title is incredibly beautiful and poignant. This was another wonderful read from Liz Moore, and I did listen to this one on Audible as well, and the performance was excellent. I definitely recommend Long Bright River by Liz Moore, and I'm definitely going to check out more of her books. I really love her style. So in cat news, If you have been following the Books and Cats Instagram, you might have already seen some pictures, but there has been an exciting new addition to the Books and Cats family, which is a wonderful development, but it did come with some sadness at first. Again, the yin and yang of life. I think that's the theme for today. Anyway, there was a notice about abandoned kittens that somebody had found and rescued, but they needed to find them other homes. Andy and I both wanted to get one, so he made the arrangements, and there was a tiny gray one that he wanted. Andy has a special connection to gray kitties. Strudel was his last one, and she's been gone for a little while now. So when he went to get the kitten, there were 2 left, and I kind of knew that he was going to end up taking both of them, which he did. The woman said that they were bonded, which, of course they are. They are siblings. But he brought home both of them, and one of them was the tiniest little kitty, a little gray puffball that Andy named Puff, and also a bigger, though still incredibly small, gray tiger that the boys named Apollo. Sadly, Puff was malnourished and also the runt of the litter. We knew when we were taking him that he may or may not make it. He had a full day of running around and playing, but then he got really sick. And we did what we could, but he did not even make a week. He did pass in my arms, so at least he was warm and loved, and not in a drainage ditch and freezing. But that was a rough one. We've had a lot of animal loss this year, and it has been a tough one. Apollo has adapted since then. He was very sad at first, and he very obviously noticed Puff's absence. But Dozer, our orange kitty, took to him really quickly, and now they are like best buds. It's really cute to watch them play together, and it's really nice that both of the boys who lost their buddies have found each other. Dozer's only 2, so they'll get to grow up together, and it is so funny to watch them play right now because he is so much bigger than Apollo. But he's really gentle with him, and I honestly can't wait until the kitten is like full-grown cat size and they can just like tussle and tear the house apart, because they're going to. Edward likes Apollo too. They've been cuddling, they'll sleep together in the laundry basket, and Weird even occasionally gets in on the playing. He's 8, but he's just a kitten at heart. He always will be. And then, of course, Sass doesn't care for any of them, and she mostly just does her own thing. Andy just built her some cat shelves in the living room, and the top one is really close to the ceiling, and it's also near the pellet stove, so it's super cozy and warm. He even lined the shelf with an old fuzzy blanket that we had, so she's a comfy, happy girl. She just stays away from the boys. So yeah, some very much needed kitten energy has entered the chat, and he has made things better already. He's not only a wild little dude, but he also loves to cuddle. He's so much fun and so sweet. Kittens are healing. There is just no question about it. So now it's time for the quote of the week. And this one is the quote that Long Bright River takes its name from. It's referring to the absolute epidemic of addiction. The quote is, "People with promise, people dependent and depended on, people loving and beloved, one after another, in a line, in a river, no fount and no outlet, a long bright river of departed souls." Once in a while, a certain quote just hits me in the heart and stops me for a moment while I'm reading, and this was definitely one of them. Honestly, having it read to me in the audiobook definitely added to the gravitas. It was beautifully done, and that quote is just painfully beautiful. I will say that one thing I am finding a little difficult about my job is that we do see there's a lot of addicts around, and a lot of them will come in, for weed when they can't get what they actually want. And I don't know, it just makes me sad, because I know that addiction, you don't just end up addicted to stuff like that. You have to have some pain, something you're trying to escape from. So I guess this is a bummer of an episode. Welcome back and happy holidays, book lovers. My goodness. I swear the rest of them are going to be about murder thriller books again. I thought this one was a murder thriller book because it was a detective story, but it ended up being a really sad story about addiction and family instead. Oh, anyway, that's it for this episode, book lovers. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry again for the long absence. I hope you have a beautiful week. I hope you read some really good books and maybe snuggle a cute animal or two. Thanks so much for listening. And until next time, keep reading.